All right, it says we are live. Welcome to another late night gun chat in the basement here. Hope everybody is doing well. Make sure you get in the chat and say hi, because that's how I know to shout you out. No, I am obviously not in Las Vegas at SHOT Show. You know that they don't pay your way, so I have to, have to be frugal. I went to IV 8888, and now I have to, be frugal. I can choose one thing a year. So, anyway. But next time, I think I'm choosing SHOT Show because I've never been to SHOT Show, so it is pretty cool though. So hopefully, I'll get to go next year. So drop those Patreon deck and super chats and all that kind of stuff if you want me to go to SHOT Show. So it is what it is. I hope y'all are doing well tonight. Um, if you hadn't seen one of these, this is just you ask your questions about guns, and I tell you my answers, and they're worth probably exactly what you paid for, maybe even less if you gave a super chat. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Fun times, all that jazz. Just ask your questions. Get your questions in the chat. There's a lot of new cool guns. I tried to watch a bunch of videos from SHOT Show. PSA might have a new 10mm coming out. They have a list on their website of the things they want you to vote for that they're going to come out with. Some really cool stuff, like a MP7 type clone within 5.7 by 28 instead of that 4-point stuff and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. So make sure you say hi in the chat. I'm going to shout that out in a minute. I'd like to thank Arc and Optics who sent me this hat along with the nice little care package. I'm going to do a review on the scope that they sent, so it's pretty cool. Nice 1-8, 34mm. So I can show the box YouTube. 34mm tube diameter, which allows you to have a bigger field of view in an LPVO because it's a 28mm lens instead of a 24. So it's pretty awesome so far. I have literally just brought it inside. It was sitting on the on the cold front porch when I came home, and of course, like every piece of glass, even my VH5s and all my expensive stuff, hit fogged up immediately because it was in -9 degrees. So I promise, Arkin, as soon as I get out of this -9 degrees and it gets up to like +5s and stuff like that, um, yeah, as soon as I do that, we'll be good to go. So anyway, let's see. All right, in the chat, hit channel member Adam Hymas. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Hit that join button if you'd like to support the channel, or go over to Patreon, whichever one you prefer. What's up, Bending Ballistics? Justin Pearman, how you doing? Yeah, I probably could get a pump company pay my way there. I'm not good about asking for sponsorships. So, yep. John McVeigh, how you doing? Shot show is for chumps and chumpettes. Yeah, well, I might be a chump too. So, been called worse. Good evening from North Idaho. What's up, Hunter Kirk? Tim O'Neill, hi from Florida. It's good to see you. We've got Ken Bean. Yep, owner of the owner of CKB Bullets, castbullets.com. So I'm sending those bullets to our friends sometime soon. I promise. So, and Ayako, where can I get a gun that never runs out of ammo like in the movies? Ask John Travolta, who got charged. He got charged with manslaughter. I think the evidence is there. Like he got charged. He had live ammo in his belt. Yeah, he got charged. Yeah. So start saving for SHOT Show. I'll start $2. I'll be $1.67 when YouTube takes their cut. So cool. Yep. Cool. Dan O'Neill's in the house. Scott Leaper's here. What are your thoughts on the new Smith & Wesson lever action? Well, let me look it up because I hadn't even seen it yet. Let's see. Wrong search button. Smith & Wesson lever action. Okay, looks like it's the new 1854 series. It's launching with, it looks cool. I mean, it looks like a Henry or anything else. Looks like they contracted Henry to make it for him, or Marlin, or somebody. if they can bring it in a quality gun that's significantly less than the new Ruger Marlins, because the new Ruger Marlins are way overpriced. Um, yeah, then I think it'd be a good gun. It looks good. So it looks like we have threaded barrel, got a rail, peep sights, big loop. There's some M-lock slots. Yeah, yeah. And if you decide to go with the wood version, you still get the threaded barrel. It's gorgeous wood on there. Look at that. Look at that. I'm not showing gun, YouTube. I'm showing a picture of a gun. I'm not handling a gun. Okay. So that's cool. All right. So 1 in 20 twist. Good job. Oh, yeah. Alec Baldwin. That's what I meant to say. Did I say John? Did I really say John Travolta? Oh, gosh. I'm an idiot. Why do y'all watch this show? Anyway. So, anyway. Yep. All right. Y'all saw Glock releasing G19X MOS now. Another flavor. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Do you have one Vortex Strike Eagle 1 to 8 by 24? I do not. I have not had a Vortex. I have a Vortex somewhere. It's supposed to be going back to the factory. I've never sent it back. It's awful. So I haven't bought another one. But it was their cheap line. I did get it in a trade, you know. So first thing I did was take that off, like take that junk off my rifle after I figured out it wouldn't track. It would group just fine. It was hold 0, but you'd click it up 4 and it'd go down 4 and to the left, and the group would be there and still be like a half inch to quarter inch group. It was like it was on my 6.5 284 when I got it. So I said, nope, it will be what it is. So all right, should introduce 19X with a longer barrel. Yeah, yeah. Don't they already have a clock 17? God bless. Howdy from Oregon. First time catching you live. I always listen in the next morning while I'm at work. Thanks, PNW Plinking Pacific Northwest. That's what PNW means. Plinking. Cool. Yeah, I'll get on that, bending ballistics. Give me a few minutes. Biggest problem I saw with the crossbolt safety and the price MSRP for the stainless model was said to be 1,200, and the walnut stock 1,800. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the 1,200 would be coming in less than the Ruger Marlin, like 44 Magnums, but the 1,800 would not. But that is a gorgeous piece of wood. So MSRP, it would be interesting. Very cool. I've never heard anything bad about Timney triggers. I felt a few of them. I haven't really shot them much, but I felt a few of them. Man, one of the best in the game. One of the best in the game. So, yeah. Yeah. Hold on. I'm getting there, bending ballistics. All right. Now, here's a good question. What's the homeless situation like in Alaska? Are people really living in igloos outside of towns? I don't think they're really living in igloos outside of towns. In Anchorage, there's a lot of homeless. It's not as bad up here in the valley, but Anchorage, there are tent cities and double decker structures and people sleeping out on the ground. And so this sounds so bad, but like one of the reasons is the drugs are so prolific in the native communities, the villages. And so somebody who's on drugs too much, they'll get sent to live with their aunt and uncle who lives in Anchorage, who lives in the big city. And the aunt and uncle will then kick them out and they have nowhere to go. So that story has been repeated over and over and over again. It's not just native themselves. It's also white people who grew up in the village or live in the village with their parents or whatever. And kind of is, a weird situation. So people get kicked out and they get on there. So definitely an interesting situation. But yeah, there was a place we lived where we couldn't walk on the trails in the park without running into homeless people. So there is that. You know about that PSA Jackal 308? That I'm looking forward to. Glock needs to come out with a G40 Gen 5. There you go. Put a chimney trigger in a 725-6. Very nice. Be mindful of the trigger width. They have different models. There we go. What's up, Benny?
Hold on.
Getting that
What up,
light.
dude? I'm trying to. Yeah, give me just a second. Let me get this.
All right. So it's been a while. Chuck, how's your rifle? What Russian? I don't speak Russian. So there we go.
Is that better?
Yeah,
Can you hear me fine?
yeah, we can hear you fine. Oh, from all the way from Las Vegas and SHOT Show, we've got Reloading Weatherby jumping in. All right. Are you there with Bullets for Bucks? Yeah. What's up? What's
Oh
up?
my gosh.
We get a twofer here. We got two
Hey,
people for
I'll
one person on
I'll
chat.
mute
Yeah.
myself.
Okay. All right. So we've got a few good questions so far. Hey, so let's ask Reloading Weatherby. What is the coolest new thing that you want to have at SHOT Show?
416 Barrett.
416 Barrett. Cool.
There was this Henry lever action with a magazine in 300 Blackout. That was probably the funnest to shoot. He agrees. He's really tired though. So am I.
I want was it a
Yeah.
Horizon rifle? I don't know. Yeah, it was like a semi-custom rifle, bolt action Horizon, or one of the KDX rifles. They always have good rifles.
Oh, cool. Well, that's cool. So
We were not
Henry
impressed with
lever
the Ruger
action.
American 2.
You're not really impressed with it?
No.
You see Henry? We liked that.
No, the Ruger American 2.
Yeah, we liked the Henry lever action. Was it 350?
300 Blackout.
300 Blackout, but we didn't. Yeah, the Ruger American 2, the magazine release was kind of small and it was kind of finicky getting the magazine in and out. The stock is still kind of cheap at that. It's kind of cheap now for the price point. The stock.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. PNW Plinky wants to know how the X Bolt 2 was. Is that something y'all got into?
It was good.
It was good.
Honestly, I couldn't tell.
This new Savage 22 with a carbon fiber barrel. And I don't really like Savage that much, but they came out with a 22 carbon fiber barrel. Really, really sweet shooting little 22.
Cool.
Yeah, that was.
Y'all are breaking up pretty bad.
A good one.
Yeah, y'all are freeze framing pretty bad there. So let me ask Bending here.
The X-Bolt did fine for 90% of the guns that day.
Yeah, they're framing pretty bad. So Bending, have you seen anything from SHOT Show you want?
I'm really intrigued by the new PCC that Daniel Defense is putting out. Now with being in that network of people, I've followed this thing almost start to finish, and Daniel McElroy, which is their engineer, he has done a phenomenal job designing that PCC. And I think it's also cool that they're bringing back the Hudson.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering, which I'll text Daniel later after SHOT Show because I know he's busy. But I'm curious to see if they're going to warranty all the Hudsons where they had all the issues with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Didn't somebody else buy the Hudsons out and then Daniel Defense got and somebody else was doing the warranty work? And then
Well, Daniel Defense bought all the patents and all the trademarks to the Hudson back in like 2019, I think is when it was when they bought it. So whoever had it prior to that, I don't know who had it prior to that, but I know Marty bought it in like 2019.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Joshua here says I'll be ordering a UXR as soon as I can find one. I'm not sure what a UXR is. Does anybody want to explain that?
I think that's the new Umarex rifle. I think.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm working on a shotgun over here on my wall.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just don't lift it up on YouTube.
No, have you heard of Military Armament Corporation?
No.
They're a Turkish-made.
Oh yeah.
Benelli clone.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And they sent me their 1014, which is identical to the Benelli M4 1014. Right. So it takes all the same gas system, all the same gas rings, all the same parts. And I've been running the just living crap out of this thing. And I'm pretty impressed with it so far.
There you go. There you go. Nice.
Oh. For a sub $400 shotgun, it's a pretty decent shotgun.
There you go. Any word on necking the 300 blackout down to a .224 bullet? No, and I'm not sure why you would do that. Would you gain any case capacity over 223? Yeah, I've never heard anybody do that, and I have no plans to do it. So
why would you do that?
Yeah, well, why would you not just do a 223 5.56? Do you have one 327 Federal Magnum? That's the question. I do not. It's a dead caliber. Dead caliber. All right. Oh, Reloading Weatherby just left, and we have a good question for him. What new product at SHOT Show do you think will sell the best?
I really think that Hudson.
Yeah, I think that Hudson from Daniel Defense. I think it's a great, it's a great like 1911 meets Glock type gun. Good. Originally the Hudson was supposed to have Glock 17 magazines, and they changed that. So.
Well, yeah, and then you've got also your fan base of Daniel Defense that these guys stand behind.
Right.
Everything. So there's the advantage there too.
Yeah. Hunter Cook says, Adam, that would be a 221 Fireball. necking the 300 blackout down. Maybe.
I don't know why you would.
Yeah. How many rounds would a carbon fiber barrel be able to last in 22? Okay, so the barrel itself is not carbon fiber. The barrel is steel, and it's wrapped in carbon fiber to give it the heavy profile look and the heavy profile weight, but not the heavy profile or not the heavy profile weight. So you had the rigidity there, but the bullet's actually running on steel, so it'd be probably about the same amount of rounds that a regular match barrel 22 would last. So, hello from Manitoba. How you doing, Ryan Clark?
The only difference is like carbon fiber just disperses heat. That's it. But you're shooting 22 LR. Like, how much heat are you really going to have?
Oh, on a hot day in the sun, you maybe all day you'd gain enough heat to do some problems, but that's the issue. That is the issue. All right, so he's saying it's a multi-caliber rifle from primary weapon system, can shoot anything from 308, and even has magwell conversions to use AK mags for 7.62.39. Yeah, I was seeing that. Yeah, that is a pretty interesting concept there. So
is it going to be just like the CZ switcheroonie that they had that turned out to be the biggest flop that CZ has ever put out?
No, because that CZ 600 Alpha, I had one. I gave it to my cameraman. That was a bolt gun. This is I'm pretty sure this is a semi-automatic. So it's going to be more like something you can quick. It's going to be a lot like the ACR, where you could quick change barrels and mags and everything like that. You know,
That'll be interesting.
I do not have one AR 10mm. I have one on loan from CMG, but I do not own one. I have one that I got to go do more ballistics testing with as soon as it gets warmer, and I can use my chronograph again, because it's -9. I'm not using the chronograph in -9. So,
Oh, I don't blame you.
David, they're gonna make that's the thing. They're gonna make a 308 Jackal. I think that's the thing there. So, what's up, Gunmetal Guy USA, New York Catcast? Good to know. So, I will say this: the CMMG, it did not kick. I mean, you talk about recoil management. That thing is awesome. Like, somebody in the comments said, "Are we watching the same video? You said it didn't kick." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't kick at all. Compare it to a Glock 20. I mean, there's no recoil." So,
Well, I just built a 223 gas rifle for a 3-gun rifle next year, and it is probably the softest shooting. Which 223 is already not. It's not vicious at all, anyways. But this thing, I'm able to do triple tap follow ups with ease at 250 yards.
you got a muzzle brake on there?
I put a Surefire 2-port comp on the front, and then I did a reduced mass bolt carrier group, and then Armaspec sent me their what is this called? Their sound mitigation buffer, but
Yeah.
pairing that with the H2 buffer weight and that low mass bolt carrier group, it's just sucked all the recoil out of it. Super enjoyable to shoot.
Nice. All right. What is the best quality brass in your opinion, specifically 308? I'm going to go Lapua. Lapua is the best
Peterson.
quality brass. Peterson's a good one too. Yeah, like that would be both of those would be hard to do. So, hard to beat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The problem with Peterson is that it's never in stock, and that's the big frustration with them.
I have an affiliate link to Creedmoor Sports, and it's usually on stock there. They usually have a bunch of Peterson. So it's over on my MeWe page, the affiliate link. I can't post it on the YouTube side, but because YouTube's not free speech anymore. But kind of is what it is. So, all right. Thoughts on a PSA PA-10, their version of an AR-10? From what I can tell, I haven't shot one or played with one. But from what I can tell, I did see some guys playing with one at the range. From what I can tell, it is very, very reliable as far as feeding is concerned. PSA did a good job there. But I've heard that the best you're going to get with factory ammo is just above an inch. It's a solid 1.5 MOA gun. So if you don't mind that, and a combat gun, that's good. I mean, that's good but in a precision rifle world, in a deer hunting rifle world, you want that 1 inch at 100 yards. My hunting buddy this past year, who was asleep in the tent when I got my moose, no offense, I hadn't seen him on the chat in a while, but anyway, he was saying that he was with the 175 grain gold medal match or 168 grain gold medal match. He was barely getting an inch on some groups, and some groups might be a little bit more than that. So I would definitely say that it's reliable, but it's not your main thing. If I were going to buy a PSA PA-10 and I wanted, it's so cheap to buy compared to buying any other AR-10 that you can afford to buy it, a scope, and another barrel if you want it to be accurate. And it's on compatible with an arrow lower. So if you just want to buy an arrow upper one day, that's maybe a heavy barrel or something like that. You could definitely look at that. So yeah.
I mean, for AR-10 barrels, I'm shocked that Palmetto is getting those groups because they're getting barrels from FN still. That's their main barrel distributor is FN.
Yeah. Not everything has a cold hammer forged FM barrel though.
Correct.
So, yeah, they market this is FM cold hammer forged, and just because FN's making the barrel doesn't mean they're making the barrel to an accuracy standard for the low end line of AR-10s. So, and maybe it's changed. Hopefully, it's changed. Tron says my AR 10mm is a Glock Model 40. Yeah, I guess that's true. Seen jackals at competitions. They look fun. They do look fun. All right, let's see. Is number 9 snake shot bad for a handgun barrel? The shot is not bad for the barrel. The twisting of the barrel spreads the shot out. Once you get past by 6 or 7 yards, like that pattern is way bigger than a man. So once if you're shooting at somebody, because that's what you have in your gun, at say 10 or 15 yards, there's a good chance it won't penetrate very far and it'll be skin deep. And then there's a good chance that a good portion of the pattern is going to miss him. You got to think about like an open choke shotgun. 5 yards, it's pretty tight, but 15 yards, it's already spread a little bit. And 20 yards, it's all over a man-sized target. And 50 yards, like half the shot is off the target. So I wouldn't say that it's bad for the gun. I'd say it's bad to use in the gun unless you're using it for what it's designed for, which is 5 feet right down there. There's a snake, right? And honestly, if I were worried about snake shot, I would buy a gun specifically for snake shot. I would buy a small revolver and shoot 357 snake shot in it. I would buy, I wouldn't ever buy a Taurus Judge, but the Smith & Wesson Governor. I would definitely buy that for that purpose, or I would buy one of the Bond Arms 410 shotgun pistols. So kind of is what it is.
Got a question for you since we're on birdshot and rat shot. Have you shot this?
Yeah, I just that was what was feeding really well in my new AK shotgun. In my JTS build that Palmetto State had, or JTS shotgun, which is right back here. I literally have number 5s in that stuff right in the gun behind me. I had 5 shots of it left when I came back from the range, and I put them in the gun, high brass number 5s, and I've been looking for more and more of it, and I can't find it.
So I can get that here for $15.99 a box.
That's pretty dang good. Is the copper plated stuff number 5s, number 4s, or number 5s?
These are 7.5.
Oh wow,
7.5 shot.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is a high brass. Oh yeah,
this is low brass.
Yeah, mine's a high brass number 5s, and I can't grab it. It's literally sitting behind me, and I can't grab it. I can't reach on YouTube.
And then Hornaday sent me some of this stuff for this year.
Cool.
For 3-gun. I'm not running a rifle shotgun barrel this year. I'm running a smoothbore, so I'm switching up quite a bit.
Cool. Very stiff action spring. I think he's talking about the jackals, but that's what my wife told me this morning about myself. Anyway,
oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Lord forgive me for that one. David Walcott. Most shots I do are between 0 and 75 yards. I don't mind that 1.5 MOA challenge. Yeah, there you go. Do that. Yeah, you're welcome to play around with my Ruger S-Fars. I have the 16 and the 20 inch. I was actually going to go record some 308 videos this weekend. I wanted to, but it looks like it might be too cold. But if you want to next weekend, give me an email, AlaskanBallistics@gmail. I mean, I know you're just right up the road. We can do that. I was literally going to film some 308 barrel length chronograph tests and stuff like that. So That would be cool.
So I got a question for you. What gun oil are you using since you're basically in sub-Antarctic climates 6 months out of the year?
Rim oil.
Rim oil.
Rim oil. It
So when
doesn't
I was
freeze. Anything that's oil based works really well. I've used rim oil, break free. I've used Otis oil. I've used all sorts of stuff. And
have you
rim
used
oil.
the Pro Shot stuff?
I have not. I haven't had the opportunity. MP7, that stuff. I like to break in my barrels with that stuff. It works really well for cleaning the barrel out there between every shot. I like that
Hmm.
stuff. But I've just used rim oil, and I've broken in barrels in like 5 degrees, 7 degrees, and I'm sitting there cleaning a barrel, and I'm out there and like Arctic gear for like 2 or 3 hours, and it's fine. So I mean, rim oil for me has always done well in adverse conditions. Like I had a Sig P239 that I carried with me fishing all the time, and that thing got a lot of water on it and never rusted. So some of the rounds are bad, but that's that.
So I found this stuff because you know I'm from Wisconsin, right?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. Um, and I ended up finding this stuff up there before I moved down here, and I picked up a case of it. It's rated for negative 75-degree
Hmm.
weather, and it gets just as cold in Wisconsin as it does there. And
Yeah,
I've never had an issue with it.
yeah, in Wisconsin, this as it does in this portion of Alaska, southern Alaska. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't get as cold as northern Alaska, but yeah, um, yeah. All right, let's see, Justin. Do you have one 10 AR-10 338 Federal? And have a good night. I gotta go. No, I do not have one. So I wish I could.
Are you going to
Really
get on
wish.
the 8.6 blackout chain?
Probably not. It's like not unless a company wants to send me some, but to send me some, they'd also have to send ammo and brass because I can't get ammo here. I don't see it. I haven't seen a single 8.6 blackout on the shelf since it's come out. And like nobody has requested it. And it would be an interesting load up here. I mean, it'd be fun to have an AR-10 that you can suppress and sounds like a whisper. Um, but or a short barreled rifle in 338. It would be a fun load up here, and I know Faxon has a lot of good stuff for the AR-10, 338, or excuse me, 8.6 blackout. But yeah, I'm not going to get into it. Like it's one of those things where if I get into it, I can't. But like, there's an election coming up. There's supposedly another disease going around, or gonna go around, disease X or whatever. People are panicking. I'm not, and ammunition is already going up the base cost. So I'm not buying anything that I can't. Like you always talk about cool Wildcat calibers, and they are cool, and they probably are better. But I'm just not buying anything that I can't regularly find brass ammo on the shelf for. Um, you
Well,
know,
oh, I love my Wildcats, don't get me wrong. But all my Wildcats revolve around the same case head.
right,
Like 6GT, all that is off 308.
right,
Um, and and then my Grendels, those are off 7.62 by 39s.
right,
So that's really my case heads that I do Wildcats off of is because I want the brass availability. I can
right.
resize 7.62 by 39 brass. I can resize 308, 6.5 Creed, 220 Swift, all that shit
Yeah,
to make my Wildcat.
so, yeah. No, and I get that. I get that, but it's like um I just don't see anything happening there. Hunter Kirk says 22 LR snake shot bounces off of plywood. I've never tried it. So,
Sounds dangerous.
yeah. Tomorrow the 9th is set to hear oral arguments in Miller v. Vonta. Yep. So hopefully they'll rule the correct way. So CCI makes a number 4 snake shot pistol round. Lead shot does not hurt steel barrels. Yeah, there you go. Yep, lead shot does not hurt steel barrels. Steel shot can hit, can hurt steel barrels, but not the same way. Copper, steel, tungsten, or bismuth, or ducks, or geese. Which would you guys choose? If I have my druthers, it would be bismuth or tungsten, but they're expensive, and I just shoot what's best in my gun, whatever pattern's best in my gun, and that's usually the Remington steel stuff. So I've shot ducks on the water at 50, 60 yards with that. Good to go.
See, that's where Kentucky has those restrictions. Is to shoot waterfowl, you have to shoot steel projectiles
That's
out of
any
your
state.
birdshot.
Out of federal. That's a federal law because the
Oh,
federal
is it?
the feds get to regulate ducks because they move across state lines, interstate
Oh,
commerce clause. Yeah,
they're
that's
trying
just
to outlaw buckshot in Kentucky for deer hunting.
yeah. Yeah, buckshot's really a great home defense, self-defense thing. I would not use it hunting. My dad killed one deer with buckshot, and it was at 40 yards, and all but one pellet missed the deer. And that
Oh,
one pellet hit the deer right here. So, I mean,
oh,
she dropped like a rock, obviously, but like,
yeah.
it was like, and he was like, and I'm not doing that again. So, what's up, Mark Thomas? Good to see you here.
What's up, Mark?
It kills snake dead from shock. Turn them over, lots of red spots. There you go. Yeah, I'd rather just have. The one time I had a snake coming at me while fishing, I fired a 22 at it a bunch of times and it went away. I don't think I hit it, but Mark. Rim oil. I've been using Lucas Extreme something. That stuff's not bad though. That stuff's pretty good.
Is that Lucas made by Rim Oil? Isn't it? Isn't it a subsidiary of Rim Oil?
I don't know. I'll have to look
It's
at it.
rebranded.
Yeah. Oh, so you're not a fan of the Taurus Judge? I think he's being. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Taurus in general. So, or
What do you think?
Rossi or any of their subsidiaries. Because I mean, somebody just sent me a Rossi to play around with one of my Patreon members, and I got to fix it. Like he bought it off a site, off a gun broker or whatever, paid way too much money for it, and now I got to fix it. So I thank him for it, but I got to figure out what to do on it, and I'm just sitting here going, I don't want to be banging on his gun, you know. So
What do you think about the new Taurus bolt action? Have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
So they just released it at SHOT Show. MSRP is like 900, so retail should be around 650 to 7, give or take. And
Yeah,
I believe, I want to say Bagara is who was making the action for him, and the barrel was made by CVA.
Okay, well, CVA barrels are made by Bergara. Like
Yeah.
CVA is completely owned by Bergara.
Yeah.
So, yeah. In fact, if you get a CVA Cascade, you're getting a cheap Bergara. So, well, if that's who's making it for them, good. I mean, as long as they're not making it at their plant in Brazil, and assembling everything there, you know, I'm maybe or their import place in Florida or whatever. So.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what it'll do. I'm curious to see if it'll hit the PRS market, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll see. Is it a heavy barrel or is it designed for hunting barrel or what?
It's a medium heavy, so
Okay.
kind of target style. But I mean, you could backpack with it. It'd be heavy backpacking, but you could
Yeah.
backpack with it.
Well, I've backpacked with my Bergara before, about a mile, not much. The caribou were within a mile of the road, so it was easy.
Mhm.
Easy hunt. Let's see. CZ22 WMR 10 round polymer don't fit in a CZ 457 Lux. Just don't click mods anyone. I don't know anything about it, brother. I have a CZ 457 Scout and 22 long rifle, but I don't have a 457 Lux. So good luck. Sorry, I'm not much help. What's up,
It's
Anthony
probably the
Fairbanks?
chassis.
Yeah, you'd have to cut it out. You'd have to cut it out. I saw some 8.6 quality brass on the shelf for $1 a round. Oh wow, just the brass? It's a new COVID variant on the loose. Of course there is. Yeah, like everybody, Ruger 45 LC carbine, Glock mags, 10mm, so it could be as modular as ARs. Everybody has been putting a video out on that 45 LC carbine, and I've been sitting here going, why not a 10mm? Why would you produce in today's market with 10mm being so much more prevalent than it used to be and more popular than 45? Why would you produce a 10 mil? Why would you produce the 45 before the 10mm? So
I think it's because they're trying to go for a military contract, and you've got all the people that say 45 has won 2 world wars, so it's got its fan base. It's just like the 1911. You don't see very many 1911s chambered in 10mm. They're either 9mm or 45.
there's a lot more chambered in 10mm than there used to be. Every company
Mm-hmm.
that makes a 10 makes a 1911 is chambering a 10mm now. Every single
Are they?
one. Yeah. Yeah. From the cheapest tea sauce, Turkish made stuff that run, I won't call it junk, they generally run. All the way up to Nighthawk or whoever custom manufacturer, they will make it in 10mm for you. Everybody makes a 10mm. Ruger makes a 10mm 1911. If so. Like I just don't buy that argument. And what military contract? Like I really just don't buy that argument because the military contract for the sub guns are the B and T, and they're 9mm, and the military contract for the rifles are the new whatever they want to call it 6.8 by 51.
The
That's the
277 Sig Fury.
yeah, that's the battle rifle. So what military contract would they be going for? That makes no
Yeah, but
sense.
they could be going for a foreign military contract. There's no telling. That's
Yeah, and I
like
get it.
look at
I get it. Like
Troy Industries. Like they don't do any American contracts for military. They do American law enforcement,
yeah,
but
yeah, but I don't know. I just don't see a 45 LC carbine like so I mean a 45 drops like a rock because it lacks speed, even in a
Mhm,
160 grain. So you're talking about a maximum effective range of 150 yards. So it's only for personal protection crews only, really.
mhm,
And they're gonna if they're in a war zone, they're gonna be carrying M4s, in
mhm.
our military
Oh,
or
for
whatever
sure.
their military standard carbine is, right? So they're gonna
Mhm.
be carrying those. So um, yeah, it's it's just not. I just don't see it happening. So, not for military like if you were going to do a military contract, okay, 10mm in a rifle has no recoil, so you don't have to worry about the recoil. You got 15 round mags that work instead of 13 round mags. You can shoot a 180 grain bullet where it isn't going to drop like.
Mhm.
I mean, it's still compared to a rifle, it drops like a rock, but compared to 45, it doesn't drop like a rock. Out of a longer barrel, you should be getting 1350 with a 180 grain bullet easily. Um,
Oh, I'm not arguing with you at all about it.
yeah, but
Like
yeah, I don't see
I
getting
agree.
foreign military contracts with that. And first of all, 45 is pretty much a uniquely American cartridge. Like I don't think anybody else. What the French Delisle carbine or whatever? That's the only other 45 like that was ever used by another military. So I just don't see it. I mean, I know the British used the 455 Webley or whatever it was, but so.
I don't know.
Yeah, so there's the new 22 CCI ammo that is a jacketed 22 long rifle. It's about time.
Is that the stuff that they're actually taking, like the 23 grain actual 223 projectiles and putting it in there?
I don't know. I'll have to see. But
Have you seen that stuff?
no, I haven't. I think this is its own bullet though. Only takes one
Oh,
shot. Aren't there buck and slug rounds? Yeah, I've got a buck and ball rounds. But I think there are buck and slug rounds too. Yeah, they have 3 or 4 pellets of buckshot underneath a slug or on top of a slug. So is what it is. Pattern gets big pretty fast. Yeah, so if you're shooting birdshot. If you are shooting some type of shot pattern through a rifled barrel, so we're talking about like the judge, the governor, the Bond arms, snake shot through a 9mm or a 357 Magnum or something like that. If you're shooting that, the rifling spins the shot cup. Okay, so your shot cup, or wad right there, wad that's into the shot cup is right there, and it's spinning going down the barrel. So it's spinning, all right. And so when the shot cup goes away, you still have, conservation of angular momentum, basic science number 101. You still have that angular momentum conserved, and so when the shot cup goes away, the shot can start flying around. Okay, so that angular momentum and the shot cup goes away, all right, and separates, then the pattern is still doing this. So when you're shooting shot through a rifle barrel, you can get a pattern. You can not, maybe not always with every single brand or whatever, okay, but the physics of it demand that angular momentum is conserved. Okay,
Mhm.
that's why after whatever your beliefs tell you, millions, billions, thousands of years, whatever your beliefs tell you, the Earth is still rotating around the sun, because when the
Mhm.
whole solar system formed, it was spinning gravity. Okay, that everything coalesced. It's a big spinning top, and we're still going around the sun. Okay, in theory, eventually, if the sun weren't going to explode first, we should slow down and fall into the sun. But that's billions of years away, depending on who you believe or what you believe. So don't worry about that. All right.
Well, Paul Harrell, he did a great video on that before he passed away. You did know Paul passed away yesterday, right?
I did not know that. No,
Oh,
I did not
Paul
know that.
Harrell he has a very fantastic video talking about rifled shotguns versus smoothbore shotguns and breaking it down.
Yeah.
And he breaks it down in such a simple term that
Yeah. I see. I never
um,
liked watching him so much because everything was so simple. I thought I already knew. Like everything he talks about, I already knew. So I never liked watching that much. Plus, he was a kind of not so nice to me in the comment section one time. I was talking about that the other night on my reloading bench chat, and so yeah, was not happy about that. But God rest his soul. May God rest his soul. Hopefully he is in the right place. So, breasty Henry. Did not know that. So rest in peace, Paul Harrell. Whole torso pattern, 3 pellets of double eye buck. Yeah. Not in touch with the consumer base. Yeah, not up here. I think it's a bit optimistic to say 45 ACP won either World War. I agree, but 30-06 probably did. Well, I mean, like,
I'm not saying 45 is the only caliber that won it, but you have your 45 lovers
who say
that,
that? Yeah,
that I'm not a
yeah,
45 fan at all.
yeah. I like 45. It's fun to shoot, but it's a way overpriced these days. Like,
Hmm.
cheapest box I've seen online is like $22.50 or $20. I'm like, screw that. I've got a bunch of 45 brass up here that I need to reload, and I've got it right up there. I've cleaned a bunch of it, and I was just going to make a couple hundred reloads so that I could have something to happen. I could have ammo to trade when crap hits the fan, ammo and guns to trade, because 45 would be one of those that I would trade away.
I think
So
45 Super is great, but I'm not a big
so
fan of just 45 ACP.
45 Super. If you built the gun around 45 Super from the scratch up,
Hmm.
like say a 1911 that you build, I'd say it's great. But if you
Hmm.
try to convert a 45 that's already built, especially in a Glock, I would say that like I've been carrying 45 Super. The only thing I've ever put through a wounded grizzly bear's head is a 45 Super, and a 9mm in that video. But I had my 9 on me too, and I didn't want to waste my big bear rounds. So I
Hmm.
put a couple of 9mm through his skull, and I had hollow points in there at the time. I'm like, well, I'm this close. He's reflex breathing. He's dead as a doornail, but he goes like that every once in a while. It's air escaping from his lungs and his neck twitching, And
Hmm.
so, which if you actually watch my videos, you could have seen this happen. But all right, I'm just gonna give you shit about that.
At
Anyway,
least I'm honest about it and tell
I
you I only
appreciate that.
watch live.
But no, I take my Glock 19 and I put 2 in his head. They were 124 grain plus piece pure gold dots,
Mhm.
and one went into the brain cavity about that far into the actual brain tissue, and one was sitting on top of the skull when I cleaned it. So that did not penetrate. But 45 Super went all the way through. It went through his head, and I found one of them in his shoulder.
Mhm.
So, and my buddy, wasn't loading at the time because it was an apartment. My buddy who hand loaded the ammo. He had a 200 grains hard cast semi jacketed wad cutter or semi wad cutter, hard cast but semi wad cutter. Um,
Mhm.
and he had that thing. It was going like 1370 out of my barrel, 200 grain, which I have a 6.61 inch barrel, and so I love the 45 Super, but it took so long to get the springs and the magazine springs and everything right to get it to run that it was like, I don't know. And then after I've got everything right, my neighbor down the street calls me and goes, "What would you do, 10 millimeter or 45 Super?" I go, "Well, you could do this a bit. Let's just go shoot him tomorrow. How's that? I got both of them. Let's just go shoot him." All right. And when he shot it, he was having failure to return him to battery. So it wouldn't go
Mhm.
all the way into battery twice. And I'm like, I've never had that. Well, I think maybe he wasn't holding the Glock tight enough and it was limp wristing, um,
Mhm.
possibly. But like, he didn't have that problem with any of my other guns, 10 millimeter, 9 millimeter that we shot that day. He had no issues with any of those other guns. So I was like, you know what? Let's um let's stay away from. So I'm thinking about converting my 45 Super back to 45, where it could shoot 45 only, getting rid of all the 45 Super rounds, and just calling it a day. But the reason why I haven't so far is I could possibly just use the gun as is in 45 ACP plus P. You have to be like with the heavier recoil spring stuff. You'd have to run plus P ammo, but
Mhm.
so it is what it is. Yeah, now this I agree with. LC carbine, because of its design, it can be converted to run 22 long rifle to 50 AE. Now, wouldn't that be funny? A Ruger LC carbine in 22 that takes 1022 mags, or takes TX 22 mags or something like that. So that would be funny. So
Or run 25 ACP.
yeah, that would
That
be
is the
interesting.
master caliber.
Yep, there you go.
I love 25 ACP. I don't know why it's such a bullshit caliber, but I love it.
I've read that new 20 CCI 22 long rifle, bad tail, self defense, high dollar dude. Yeah, there you go. What's up, Marcus? David. Always wanted to get a 357 mag. I just don't know which brand to choose. Probably look at a Taurus. Ah ha ha. Okay. Good luck with that.
My favorite Taurus I've ever owned is the TX22. Now that is the only one that I own now,
That would be the
but
only one I would ever consider purchasing. So I've shot it. I think it's great, but like I wouldn't do that now.
I think if Glock and Sig would have really studied the Taurus
Hmm.
and seen how well the Taurus runs, and then build their Sig and their Glock 22s, the Sig 22s, and then the Glock 22, based off of that platform of the TX 22, I think Sig and Glock would be a way better 22 pistol.
So
That's
to
just
be
my
honest with
opinion.
you, I've shot both the Sig and the Glock, and I've had no issues with them ever. Like the
Really?
Glock was accurate for me, accurate enough. The Sig was really accurate. Like I shot it. I did a short on it with Michael Kaler the other day. It was great. Like I thought they were great. So um, is what it is. Yeah, 45 ACP, 460 rolling conversion. So the only thing is like the reason why I didn't do 460 rolling and I went to 45 Super. 45 Super is designed not to break the frame of an AR of a Glock or a Springfield or whatever. The polymer frames. 460 rolling, if you shoot it enough, those frames can crack under the pressure. Um, so just something to think about. It might happen 3,000 rounds. It might happen 10,000 rounds. I don't know, but And will I ever get to that round count in 460 rolling or 445 super? Absolutely not. But nobody sponsors the ammo that way. But it is what it is. So, yeah. Yeah, 45 ACP killed boatloads of Japs and Jerrys and North Koreans and Chinese and Vietnamese and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was good at the time. It's still a good I don't want to be hit by one, but like it's still a good caliber. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fun to shoot, but like it's fun to say I got a 45, but just not what is needed for a modern carbine. 10 millimeter run heavy 40 Smith & Wesson for subs. Easy to tell what mag is loaded with what. There you go. Yeah, it'd be good to have it in a 9x25 Dylan. I walk in and hear how great Taurus is. I love my TX22. I got over 10,000 rounds through it. He got 10,000 rounds and threw it. I get it. Yeah, come on, Tactical Futter. You gotta know your grammar there, buddy. He got the 10,000 rounds. This thing sucks, and he throws it across the room. So,
I've shot some 22 IDPA matches with mine, and dude, just cheap, shitty Winchester 22 ammo. And you know how notorious that stuff is for just being trash.
Yeah.
And it just ate it and ate it.
There you go. Taurus full 60 looks cool, but I shudder at the thought of a critical failure with it. Yeah. So the one thing about those big Taurus guns, they do that double lockup, which is nice. Like I've never heard of like a Taurus exploding. It's always failure to the timing fails or the cylinder advancement spring fails. But as far as like blowing up, I've not heard of that. Okay. But like I've heard of
I've got the little bull.
What's that?
I've got the Taurus. Is it the Raging Bull or is it the Little Bull in 44 Magnum?
They have a Little Bull in 44 Magnum. They also have a tracker in 44 Magnum. So
it's the Little Bull that I've got. And that thing shoots really, really nice. But I don't know that I'd use it for life and death. I mean, it'd be better than nothing, but I also don't trust it enough.
How good 7.65 Argent are? They seem interesting. But in all serious, David, you live here in Alaska. Get a Ruger. Get a Ruger so you can handle the Buffalo Bore ammo. Call it done. My Ruger stays loaded with Buffalo Bore 180 grain hardcast. I'm getting nearly 1,000 foot-pounds of energy out of a 6-inch barrel. It's insane.
Now you can buy pistols at your local Walmart, can't you?
No, they don't. Walmart doesn't carry them anymore. But yeah, we could buy. We could when I first got here. Yeah. But they. I wish I had too. I wish I'd saved my money and bought that Ruger Toklat in 454 Casull. They had a good deal on it. Everybody else is, my only hope to get a good deal on it is when Chook trades his. But Chook, when he trades his, when he sells it, if he doesn't sell it to me for a good deal, then he gets bitch slapped by me and Michael Kaler, and like it's like slap bet because he trades guns so much for his channel that if he ever gets rid of that one, we get to slap him just upside the head, just one good. It's just, I'm a slap bet commissioner. So
now I'm not familiar with the 454 Casull.
Yeah.
What's it comparable to?
So you can shoot 45 long Colts in it. So you could and so in a 460 Smith & Wesson you could shoot all three. 460 Smith & Wesson, 454. So it's that same bullet diameter, 0.454, I believe. And in energy, your highest brand of ammo, factory ammo, in energy is you can get I want to say 100 to 200, maybe even 300, depending on the brand, foot-pounds of energy. Probably about 250 more than the 44 Magnum. So
now, who makes the 454 Casull ammo? Is it only
Buffalo Bore makes it. MagTech makes a lighter load, or had made one at one time. I've seen MagTech. I've seen Corbon. I've seen because it's been around for decades. It's been around since the 90s. And but mostly you're gonna find double tap Underwood and Buffalo Bore. But MagTech made some for a while. At least they made some. There's a few others I'm sure out there. So yeah, my favorite is still the 480 Ruger. Yeah, I've got one to test. So I got a new 480 Ruger to test. It's not mine. It's the Patreon member sent it to me, and it's a Rossi. So it's a lever action. So it'll be fun.
So what's the difference in the 480 Ruger and the 460 Ruger?
There is no 460 Ruger. That's a Smith & Wesson. 460 Smith & Wesson, and it's so the 480 Ruger is based loosely similar to the 475 line ball, but the I think the line ball is just a little bit more powerful. As far as foot-pounds of energy, I think the 480 Ruger barely gets above 44 Magnum, but it does it by a bigger bullet instead of a heavier powder charge, right? Whereas the 454 uses smaller bullets, but gets them going faster to get the energy, get a lot more foot-pounds of energy. And so 480 Ruger isn't bad. I've shot a couple of them. If I had to choose between the three, 44 Magnum, 480 Ruger, and 454 Casull, I would probably choose the 44 Mag just because it's easier to get ammo for, but I'd be tempted for that Casull. But having said that, the 480 is nice. So there's a couple of videos on the channel on it. So
is it comparable to like 4570 and 458 SOCOM in a way?
No. Well, 458 SOCOM, if you were shooting from a lever gun, could 454 Casull beat 458 SOCOM? Possibly. But like the real heavy 44 Magnums or 4570s, real heavy plus P Buffalo Bore stuff, you're not gonna get there, I don't think. So
I didn't know.
So here's the thing. So revolver powders like H110 stuff like that, you hand loaded. So you probably know this. Revolver powders, yes, they're still a pistol powder, but they burn a little bit slower than say 9mm powders for 9mm, right? Powders for 10mm. So they burn a little bit slower as a pistol powder. And there is a lot more case capacity in these bigger revolvers, obviously. And so when you put one of these cartridges that they test in an 8-inch barrel, which Underwood tests in an 8-inch barrel, Buffalo Bore can test in like 4, 6, and 8. They'll tell you what it does in different ones, and they'll tell you the exact gun and everything. But you put these rounds in a carbine length barrel, 16 to 18 inches, you are gaining velocity up to 300 feet per second. So if you gain 300 feet per second in a 18-inch barrel for 454, but a 4570 is tested in a 24-inch barrel lever action, okay, or 22. And if you gain it in 454 and lose it in 4570, I don't know if you would, how much better you would do or worse you would do. Like I still think the 4570 is going to come out on top. You're still going to have energies a lot higher, but I don't know. And me and my camera guy have been planning the same video for a while, so we're going to be looking at it. So
didn't they have a 4590 at one time also?
Yeah, so the Sharps had a 4590. It's still around. You can still get brass and stuff for it. And so the designation was, this is a 45 caliber, and it took 70 grains of black powder to fill the casing. Okay, and so longer casing, 4590, and yes, they do have a 45 120. There's a 50 110, 50 110. So if you want to know any about this, go look at Lever Guns 50. He got Lever Guns 50 has a lot of good videos. So he has a lot of these cartridges, 4590. He has a level 3+ steel body armor piece that he was given, and he actually penetrates it with that 45 190. He loads up the Extreme Defender from Lehigh Defense, Lehigh Bullets, Lehigh Defense. He loads that up in a 4590, and he gets it going like 3,000 feet per second, because it's 4590 is usually a 400 500 grain bullet, right? It's a 225 grain solid copper, and it's just twisting right through there because it's still 225 grains at nothing to laugh at, So and then it's going the speed of like a 308, So it's like, or 243, so it's going fast for that projectile. So he goes it right. It just drills a big old 45 caliber hole right through that steel body armor. So Lever Guns 50, if you're out there, we love you, brother. All right, everybody go subscribe to him. Okay.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, I don't think he does live streams. Okay. What caliber would be excellent for predator hunting, but also good for whitetail hunting? I'll give you two: 6.5 Creedmoor, and 243 Winchester. If I were going to do both, those are the two I would do both with, because you can get 95 grains. I think there's even an 80 grain hammer bullet in 6.5 Creedmoor, and
Mhm.
then you can get if they're accurate out of your gun, obviously, and then you can get you can get 55 grain to 107 grain in 243. And the only reason why I do 243 over 6mm Creedmoor is ammo availability. You're not going to find 6mm Creedmoor on the shelf nearly as much as 243 Winchester. That's a good one. You got ones that he would do? You got one of those Wildcats that you like, or
No,
regular
I
cartridge?
wouldn't go wild. I wouldn't go Wildcat. I'd say I'd be torn between 308 and 6.5 Creed, depending on your area. Because like here, 6.5 Creed and 6 Creed are way more available than 243.
Yeah, and that I guess that does depend on your area. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But here 243 is way more available than 6mm Creed. Now 6.5
Mhm.
Creed is pretty available. So
I
yeah.
also love 308. Like I absolutely love the 308.
I'm starting to lean back. Like I shot my first deer with the 308. The 308 is a great cartridge, and so when I was going to buy stuff for my AR-10, it was right after Biden was elected, and there was nothing on the
Mhm.
shelf in 308, and I said, okay, I'll build my AR-10, and like I literally went in the store and bought all the parts to build it, and left the store with a loaded rifle, with a complete rifle, because I bought the upper, wasn't a build. I bought the upper, bought the bolt carrier group
Mhm.
charging handle, bought the lower complete, bought the stock to put on it. Right.
Mhm.
I walked out of there with a complete gun. And so I bought a 6.5 Creedmoor because I already had a 6.5 Creedmoor, already had ammo, and had a bunch of 6.5, and I love the 6.5 cartridge, and it knocks down a caribou just fine. But and it has that long range accuracy for that. But that being said, I run a 127 grain LRX for hunting in the 6.5 Creedmoor,
Mhm.
and if I were going to be hunting like whitetail, I'd be running a 130 grain TTSX in the 308, because that 130
Mhm.
grain TTSX, it punches above its weight level because it's well constructed. The Barnes TTSX is a well constructed bullet,
Mhm.
and so here's the thing though, in my 18-inch barrel, that 127 grain LRX and 6.5 Creedmoor goes down to about 2650, 2675. So it loses
Mhm.
between 175 to 200 feet per second in the 18-inch barrel.
Mhm.
In the same in an 18-inch barrel AR-10, that 308 130 grain, 3150.
Well, that's what
3150.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
And so
everybody. Oh, go ahead.
I like 5 Creedmoor, but the people who buy it and say it's the best caliber ever, it's you know, like there's this misconception out there that it has speed. It does not have speed. It has high ballistic coefficient. Okay, it does
Mhm.
not have speed over a similar projectile in 260 Remington or 308 or 7mm 08. They're all going to get
Mhm.
100 feet per second more, if not more than that. Um, so what they're not going to get, what you get with the 6.5 Creedmoor is a superior case design, where you're not
Mhm.
seating that bullet down into the powder chamber, and you get a superior, like you get moderate recoil because of that too, and because of the magnum powders used. Essentially, you're allowed to you're able to use slower burning powders in the because of the case design. And so
Oh, for sure.
if you look at 6.5 Creedmoor, then it's got all these slow burning powders on it. Like Varget is the fastest burning powder, But if you look at 308, like it's got all these fast and medium, like
Mhm.
burning powders, and it's like, and so you actually, that's the reason why, like, the case capacity isn't that much different. The 308 is a little higher, but that's the reason why 6.5 Creedmoor doesn't kick relative to 308 or
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So I think if you're be honest with you, if he's going to use it both predator hunting and whitetail hunting, it depends on where you're at. Again, 6.5 Creedmoor, 308 is 7mm weight, 243 6mm Creedmoor. I mean, here's the thing: you could use the 300 Win Mag. There's a 110 grain VMAX for the 300 Win Mag. Load it up. Make sure you shoot in the head and not the body of the groundhog if you want to save any meat. Just saying. So, yeah. So I mean, you can do it. I mean, I've got 110 grain loaded. I got 110 grain literally load behind my computer. 300 Win Mag loaded up from the barns. So I loaded those
Yeah,
up to shoot at body armor. But
like I don't understand why people hate on 308 so much. Just my opinion, it is the most versatile round that is readily available in with factory loads. I mean, it goes
I
all
would
the way
say,
down to a 125 grain, all the
yep.
way up to a 210 grain,
Hmm.
and you can do everything from self-defense, personal defense, family defense,
Hmm.
to putting meat on the table, and you still also have high enough BCs that if you had to pull out that 3, 4, 500 yard shot,
Yeah.
if you
Oh
are
yeah.
competent to do it,
I've shot 1,000 yards
it
with a 308. Yeah.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
I've shot matches with 308s out to 12, 1,300 yards, so I know it'll do it.
Yep.
But not everybody's like you and I that shoot all the
Right.
time.
Yeah. And I really, really do believe that the 308 is underrated because there are a lot of people up here in Alaska that's their exclusive moose cartridge is a 308 Winchester. And honestly, I just killed my moose this year with a 6.5 by 284. I mean, so if you can do it with the 6.5 by 284, I mean that's the same power level as a 308, even a little bit less
Every
because I wasn't getting the 127 grain LRX I was shooting out of that wasn't getting near the energy the 130 grain 308 was. So even that 308 was beating that. So
every elk I've ever shot has been with the 308.
there you
Every
go.
single one.
Yeah, GP 100 will hot loads, no problem. Absolutely, yes. Go watch my videos on it. Go watch my 10mm versus GP 100 series. Okay. Spot a Model 5741 Magnum stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Good job, Jason. I got a lot of 41 Magnum videos on the channel. If you live here in Alaska, let's go record one with it. I'll buy the ammo. I have a Red Hawk Alaskan in 454 and 480. Super Black Hawk is 44 Magnum. I have an AR pistol in 4858 SOCOM, and I cast 330 grain hollow point and powder coat it with medium hardness. There you go. Handle any round. They do get shot out though. Do shoot them out. Like when I bought mine, like I was like, why isn't this thing chronographing? Like it needed a new barrel, a new forcing cone, it needed a new cylinder. Like everything, the head spacing was off. Everything was round because that guy had run nothing but buffalo bore in it and shot a whole bunch of heavy buffalo bore and heavy hand loads through it. So it doesn't mean you doesn't mean that you don't that it doesn't like what's the right word? Doesn't mean that
Where out?
it doesn't wear out. You don't want to go shoot heavy loads through it like every weekend, 300 rounds of buffalo bore like you would 9mm. Okay. What is the best cow for a brown bear? 300 MG. What is MG? Or
Win
4570?
mag. 300 Magnum.
300 Magnum. Um, I mean, it depends on what
I'm
you're doing.
guessing he means Win mag.
Yeah, if you're hunting them and you're hunting up, I mean, most of the time in the spring, early spring, they're up high on the mountains. So you're better off with 300 Win Mag. But if you're fishing in the woods, in the stream, in the thick brush, you're better off with 4570. If you're going to go hunt them in the thick woods, once they come down a little bit, 4570. So, but
Now,
Go ahead.
Is 450 Bushmaster common up there?
It's common enough. People shoot it. So 458 SOCOM is probably a little more common because there's more ammo available for it. That's hard cast. Like there's more choices. So
Hmm.
yeah, Starline has good brass. Ultimate caliber for devastation of tissue. There you go. 357 Magnum. I'm a pleb. I carry a 9mm either in the Glock Smith & Wesson Shield Easy or it's Easy 75 compact. 4.5 thousand rounds to the Glock, 1.1 through the Smith & Wesson, and 300 through the CZ. There's nothing wrong with that, dude. If that's what you like, carry it. All right, I wouldn't carry it in
I
bear
carry a
country up
Koenig.
here, but I carry a 9mm all the time.
Fuck, I carry a Koenig half the time.
You know what I carry to church now, though? I bought
What?
some pants that were too big specifically so I could carry. I have that hidden hybrid holsters that Johnny B sent me, and
Mhm.
it's for the Glock Model 40 long slide 10mm. So I literally
Nice.
carry my long slide 10mm. It's inside the waistband, long slide 10mm. I literally carry that under a shirt at church, and nobody's
Johnny is
noticed.
such a good dude.
He's a really good
He's
dude.
a fantastic dude.
Yeah,
One of the
and
nicest people I've ever met in the
yeah,
gun world.
yeah, he's a really nice
Super,
guy.
super nice.
Yep. I'm a little bit of a smart ass to him sometimes, though, so I know. But I am that
Yeah,
way to everybody.
but I think Johnny likes that because I
Yep.
don't know, like when we've linked up in Nashville and stuff, he's just super, super nice.
Cool.
Super,
Ethical
super
Fluttery
nice.
says a dual purpose gun between varmints and whitetail, 25-06. There you go. That's not a bad one either.
Well, if we're gonna go old calibers, 250 Savage then.
Yeah. 25-06 has a 25-06 has a good following nowadays, though. A really good following. So.
You remember the old 250 Savages, the lever actions?
Yep.
I've actually restored one. Restored that in an old Browning 308 lever action.
Oh, nice. The BLRs were
Beautiful
nice.
rifle.
They actually had a better barrel than the original A-bolts. Tack, I agree. My brother in Alaska killed a big moose with the 25-06. Yeah, a lot of people should hunt moose with 25-06 up here. Now it's their petition. There you go. Can't go wrong with that. Yep. I was USAF in South Dakota in 1976. 25-06 was popular. Designer was Wyoming Wildcat round. What was its nickname? Yeah. Yeah, it was popular. Change the thought process. 6.5 PRC versus 308. Thoughts. Well, so 6.5 PRC you can get, especially if you hand load, you can get enough velocity to start rivaling 308. So the 127 grain LRX that I hand loaded for the 6.5 PRC was definitely getting over around 3150, which is the same as the 130 grain TTSX was getting for me in 308. Now that was the 18-inch barrel versus a 24-inch barrel. With the right powder, if you could ever find Reloader 26, with the right powder, you could almost get 3,300 in a 26-inch barrel. So I think when you're talking 6.5 PRC, like that's when you get up there and you start to really make 308 go away as far as like a long range cartridge as a hunting cartridge. Like 6.5 PRC definitely outdoes 308, but in one area, 308 still has better bullet choices. So the problem with 6.5 PRC and 6.5 Creedmoor and 270 Winchester is that they have a selection of basically 100 grain bullets. Maybe there's a 95 here or an 85 there, but basically 100 grain bullets all the way up to 150. Maybe there's a 160 here, maybe there's a 165 or 170 by certain Wildcat companies, by companies way off. But your bulk of your good bullets for the regular twist rates they're produced in is going to be 100 to 150. Okay, 100 to 150. That's all you're going to get, your bulk of your bullets. You might get a 165 Accubon long range. You might get a, they've got some heavier bullets for 270 now with the 6.8 Western coming out. But, that being a dead cartridge, probably not going to happen too much. So 308 gives you that 100 grain to 200. Really, I mean, there are some 220 grain loads for 308 out there. Like if you hand load, there's 220 and even 250 grain loads. Then you're getting like 1900. And those 220 and 250 grain loads, people load those subsonic for suppressor use. Like 308 is got a lot more versatility. And like he was saying earlier, you can put 125 grain bullets in it for home defense, 110, 125 grain bullets for home defense. And then you can use 150 to 180 for hunting, depending on what you want. So it just really depends. So,
Well, those are all that I've ever seen in a factory loaded down to 125. But fuck, you could get a 90 grain almost
yeah,
loaded in there.
Yeah, I think there are some 90 grain. There were some 90 grains for a while. I think Spear made a TNT that was 90 grain, 30 caliber for a while.
Could you imagine how nasty that would be out of a 308?
Oh yeah, yeah. So Lehigh Defense has that 85 grain extreme cavitator, the one that looks like a Allen wrench head or whatever.
Yeah.
They have an 85 grain bullet that you could load in. I mean, it's made for 300 blackout, but you could load it in 308. I mean, and I'm sure you could send it about 34. Wouldn't you say?
At least. The problem would be is people trying to do it in a gas rifle, you'd overpressure the gas. You'd have to do it in a bolt action to make sure you're safe.
Yeah, I could see that. Somebody was going to send me some of those, and they never did to play around with. But they said they were getting over 4,000 with their 300 Win Mag. So
that's insanity.
Yeah. So
now, what about the 7 PRC? Have you looked much into that?
Not a lot. I'm gonna play with one, and Chuk gets one in a few weeks. So I'm gonna get a chance to play with one a little bit here and there. Probably load them up some stuff. So why don't they make a good bolt action rifle for the 5.7x28 cartridge?
Because it's a subgun cartridge and it's not a bolt action cartridge.
Yeah, so I mean the whole thing for the cartridge was that it was personal defense weapon. It was a PDW, subgun, whatever you want to call it. It was designed for truck drivers and go in the back of ejection seats possibly. Although I don't think it ever did that because of the way that it fits. It was designed for a personal defense weapon. It was designed so that you could defend yourself right up close and personal. And it's not that much better, if at all, than a 22 Magnum. So why would you design one when you could get a 22 Magnum? Like, now I will say this: it gets better across a chronograph consistency than a rimfire, because rimfires can be all over the place, especially the way they've been loaded these days, when they've been loaded pretty quickly and stuff. So, yeah, I would just say personally that I would, yeah, it would be a fun gun, but I don't think I don't really think you'd hunt 200 yards varmints with it. I really don't think you'd hunt varmints at 200 yards with it. I mean,
well, why would you when the 17 is so much more effective for varmint?
Yeah, I mean, you can get 300 or 400 yards with the 17 HMR. I will say this though: if you're in any kind of wind, that 17 HMR gets blown the freak around. I sighted it in dead on at 50 yards, moved back to 100, and I was like 8 inches to the left in the wind. Like, we were shooting at 400 yards one day. I was 15 feet to the left with the wind. Me and Michael Kaler were doing it.
Yeah, but it's like a 17. It's what, 17 grain projectiles and shit like that?
17 or 20, yeah. So, yeah, they they get blown around in the wind. So centerfire 22 Hornet. Yeah, because it's dumb. That's why. I don't either. I feel 30 cal in general has been neglected in R&D to improve BCs because money is in new calibers. Yeah, so I mean that's an interesting thing. I mean, what if you made a 308 PRC? So like a short action PRC type thing for 308. Like, okay, so you got your 308, neck it down, and lengthen, get everything and shoot 190 grain bullets in it. It's not a bad idea.
I mean, you could.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they did with the 8.6.
Yep. Pretty much.
They took 338 Labua and shrunk it down.
I have 3 308s and getting a 6.5 PRC soon. Stocking up on ammo first. There you go. Shot my first buck with a 10mm. Sweet, that works. My rifles are 300 black, 5.56, and 458 SOCOM. There you go. You got everything you need. Like if you're hunting, you probably want a bolt action. If you're hunting long range out west, you will probably want a bolt action and a standard hunting caliber that will get you 400 or 500 yards and still have 15, 17, 1800, 2000 foot-pounds of energy. But yeah, if you're back east, or if you don't plan on hunting, yeah, those are fine. Yeah. They're fun to shoot and they're pretty decent, so. New Henry Buckmaster, 360 Buckmaster. There you go.
Got a buddy that's got a 350 Legend. He went to Ohio instead of straight wall cartridge only.
Mm-hmm.
He took a nice deer with it, but he said it was like shooting a deer with a bow where it ran a pretty good distance before it dropped.
Sounds like you made a bad shot placement then. Or I hate to say that, but the only guaranteed drop on an animal is if you put it here in the neck or the back of the head. Everything else is iffy, because if you're off by a couple of millimeters on a high shoulder shot, it's gonna run. If you're off by a couple of millimeters on a heart shot, and even on a heart shot, it's got enough adrenaline in the system, it can run. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, David, it's 0.264. So just below 270. Buy the mod calibers. Good luck on animal. Oh, there you go. There you go. 6.5 by 50. Yeah, sweet. But you can load hot in a modern rifle. Don't do it in an old rifle. That's for sure. Would 6mm Creedmoor be a cool plinker hunting rifle? My local has some for $24 a box and looks interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that would be a great whitetail and varmint round. Yeah. And it's one of those that is going fast enough with a 100 grain bullet. You could use the same bullet for both if you really wanted to.
And if he's into long range shooting, 6 Creedmoor is one of the most popular long range shooting for regular factory loaded ammo.
Yep. Almost bought a 6.5 Swede Mauser, but because I couldn't find the ammo in Alaska. There you go. I'm using 125 grain 300 blackout for home defense. Just me and my dog. I don't have close neighbors. I'm not worried about over penetration. Yeah, I don't blame you there. Honestly, over penetration is less of a problem than under penetration. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Now, me, because I have neighbors where I live, I've got a little bit of distance between us. I won't use a rifle or a pistol for home defense because, for one, it's really hard for me to wake up anyways. So if I get woke up, I'm still about half-ass out of it. You got to get past my 260-pound Rottweiler. You got to get past my 125-pound Husky. Then you got to get past me, and I'm grabbing my shotgun that's literally right there loaded with double-aught puck. I mean, just realistic, where I live, I'm too close to my neighbors to use a pistol or a rifle, and I know how I am when I wake up.
There you go. Yep, nothing wrong with that. But where I live, I have neighbors, but their house is 100 feet from mine on one side, and 30 feet, 20 feet from mine on the other. But like, I've got good ammunition. I get woken up easily, and I've got good expanding ammunition. So I would never use my 308 rifle for home defense. I say that now. But I'm worried less with the 308. Like 308 is my go-to for crap hits the fan. But the one thing about 308 for home defense, which you can do just fine, because you got to hand load those 125s or 110s, or find some factory 110s or 125s. Good luck. You got to hand load those, and then if you want to use it for hunting, you got a totally different point of impact, point of zero. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, like I've got the Remington 870, kind of like the Mossberg Shockwave.
yeah,
You know which one I'm talking about?
yeah.
And
I know.
that's what's literally in my nightstand next to my bed. So it's got a short barrel on it, or not short barrel, but
Right,
it's a shorter
right.
rifle or shotgun,
Shotgun.
anyways.
Yeah. This
I don't
guy
know why I
says
said
buy
rifle.
online for the Swede. Well, we can't buy online in Alaska because it has to go through import export because we're not connected to the continental United States. To the excuse me, the lower 48, the contiguous states. We are continental, but we're not contiguous. So yeah, yeah. The ballistic tips, like non-bonded ballistic tips, are not good up here. They don't penetrate well enough. They tend to fragment too much, and while they might kill the animal, obviously because they explode on the heart or whatever, they don't leave a blood trail. They don't leave the shock and stuff. So yeah.
Now, is that
If you're
because of
shooting
how
in the
thick
deer
the
neck
skin?
junction right here, though, it doesn't matter. Like, use the LDX for all I care. Yeah.
Now, is that because of how cold it gets there? The animal's skin is so thick, or
Yeah,
why is it?
there's thicker skin, thicker muscle. I mean, the animals are just bigger. I mean, there is that. Caribou are bigger than deer. You know, a
Mhm,
good caribou female is the size of a huge whitetail buck, you know, body wise.
mhm,
Um, you know, probably and actually longer still. Like,
mhm.
so the spine is quite a bit thicker, side to side. Um, so yeah, they are bigger animals. Um, so there is that, and of course my moose this year was like 1,200 pounds, and I didn't know how like caribou skin pretty easy to get off. It's not that thick, but moose is really thick skin. I was cutting down into it. I'm like, man, I can't cut into this, and I finally got down. Holy crap, that's thick. So
Now, you
yeah.
guys have wolves there too, right?
Yeah, we have wolves. I've seen several. I've seen 3. So, I haven't one I saw at the rifle range. I was doing that Discovery Optics video for that big old ERS. It's a
Mhm.
great optic for 400 bucks. Uh, like 5 to 25 they were sending me, and there were some doll sheep up on the hill, so I just zoomed in on them and was watching them for a while. And all of a sudden this big old muscular wolf comes out and wants to eat them, and all the younger rams and the older ewes were getting there so they wouldn't get the calf that was there. They were just surrounding that wolf, and he decided to take off rather than fight all 5 of them. So yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
pretty
that's
good. But it was beautiful. Yeah, it was a beautiful sight to see, man, especially through the scope of a rifle scope up on the mountainside behind the rifle range.
mhm. Well,
Yeah,
that's what I
there.
was gonna ask. Is do they play um a big role on taking out game animal, like how they have since
Oh yeah.
they've reintroduced them in Colorado and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, they do. So, but for moose, the biggest predator is bear. Yeah,
Is it?
like one brown bear will eat 40 moose calves.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
They've
know.
they've done studies like collar tag studies, and that one brown bear in an area will kill 40 moose calves. It doesn't usually want to go after the moose mom because the moose mom is taller than it is, not necessarily weight wise bigger, but sometimes they are
Mhm.
weight wise bigger because you hear these 12, 1,500 pound bears. Most bears are 6 to 800 pounds. Okay. Brown bears. So there is that. But yeah, you definitely want you want to use something that you can knock them down, but those big moose will just stomp on their head. They don't want anything with that to do with that. So, and
Now, are
neither do
there
I. So,
grizzlies?
interestingly enough, last week we had I'm a school teacher, as you know, and the substitute for my teaching partner who comes one day a week, uh, he had to get the kids off our ski track in the back of the school ski loop.
Mhm.
He had to get them off because a moose was chasing them. Now,
Oh shit!
it wasn't actually running after them. It just kind of walked up to them and never actually charged them. But it saw them, they started to scream, and so it started to head their way. And this was not a huge bull moose by antlers, but gosh, his body was thick. He was easily as thick-bodied as the one I killed, which had way bigger antlers. So.
Now, are the grizzly prominent in your area, or are they more northern?
Grizzlies are all over Alaska and in the southern and western, Pacific Northwest. There's grizzlies from northern California all the way up, but they're none are bigger than they are here in Alaska. But they're all the way up in Canada and everything too. So.
Now, what about black bear?
Oh yeah, all over. I've had them go through the yard. So yeah, grizzlies tend to stay away from humans because both are predators. Okay. All right. And humans are not a food source for grizzlies, generally speaking. Black bears, on the other hand, they see you as a food source. They don't see you as a competitor. So black
now, why
bears,
is that?
I don't know. That's just what the experts tell me. So that's that. All right. Is 22 Art going to live up to its name or die slowly after release? It's going to die slowly after release because they're claiming 22-250 velocities, and yet they get 300 feet per second slower than 22-250. It's dead on release. 22 Arc, mark my words, dead on release.
The only thing that'll save 22 Art is the PRS in NRL World.
Yeah.
That'll be
the only thing. That's the only advantage it has over like 22-250. Yep. Advanced rifle cartridge. Neck junction.
That's the only thing that saves 6 Arc.
Last moose I shot with a bow didn't take it 50 yards. There you go. Thoughts on the Air Force Texan LSS and 50? I don't know anything about it. Cool. I have, yes, they do make a VMAX for the 270 Winchester. It's a 110 grain VMAX. They make it. I have a box of 100 grain GMX right here on my reloading bench. I'm looking at it right now. I did a video on the 100 grain GMX. So the if you're looking for bullet weight, the bullet weight is still made. But I am going to look it up right now on Hornady's app. Let's see, rifle reloading data. Wait for it to load because I'm in the basement. 270 Winchester. Here we go. 270 Chinwester. They have 100 grain CX. They have 100 grain soft point that's discontinued. 100 grain GMX still made. 110 grain VMAX with cannular. Yep, still made. Item number 22721. And 3,300 feet per second out of a 24-inch barrel, using anything from H4350 to IMR 4831 to Reloader 19 to Varget, Winchester 760, IMR 4350, IMR 4064. You can get that VMAX going 3,300 feet per second, according to them. Good luck. Have fun. I've actually shot a deer with a 110 grain VMAX from a 270. Man, it was a small deer. I thought it was a doe, and it was a button buck. And it was standing 90 degrees to me at 108 long paces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it landed over 90 degrees from where it was standing. It, like, I shot it through the heart, and bullet fragments ripped everywhere. Like, it was a small deer. So.
Now, is 338 Win Mag prominent up there?
Oh, yeah. But it's hard to find
way
the
more
ammo.
prominent than
That's
Lapua?
one thing they have not been producing the ammo much for lately. So.
Now, is it more prominent than 338 Lapua?
Probably, yeah. While the Lapua is gaining in popularity, I mean, the rifles are so big and heavy for Lapua that it's not really a hunting rifle. It's like the people that hunt with the Lapua drive a four-wheeler somewhere and just glass from wherever they can drive, you know? They don't really hike with the rifle. So is what it is. Yep, there we go. The last 3 deer I've killed here in North Carolina, next shot at 150 yards or less, dropped them in their tracks with the 243, 100 grain Sierra Genki rounds. Deer dead before it hits the ground. Yep. Cool. Yep. Go to Midway USA. It's there. Centerfire, go boom. You need to get on it, daggone it. Primers are going out of style. If you could find primers in your area, large rifle or large rifle magnum. I use large rifle magnum in 270 and above. Anything that anything that's above 50 to 55 grains of powder, I put a large rifle magnum primer in it. So, yeah.
I've actually sold all my reloading equipment.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No factory rounds made. You can make them. Yeah.
I just got out of reloading. I haven't reloaded in over a year. And a buddy of mine wanted to get into it, so I sold him my progressive press and dies and shit like that. I kept my single stage.
So, killer whales. Don't forget, Chuck, one of their natural predators. Yep. Actually, like, so moose swim and they dive deep and go eat on the bottom of they can go eat on the bottom of a ocean for a long time. And moose is one of their biggest predators is killer whales.
Really? That's crazy.
Are you sure about Paul H? Daniel says, where did you hear it? Was it fake?
No, Paul's dead. Brian Barzak died too. I don't know if you followed animals on YouTube and stuff like that.
No, I did not. Northeast Shooters, Paul Harrell has died. Reddit, Paul Harrell is still alive. Quit pulling a CN and reporting.
In his last video he even stated he only had like a week or two to live, and according to everybody that I've heard from, including Paul from Legally Armed America, who was very close to Paul Harrell, has put out the video that Paul Harrell has died.
Yeah. Paul Harrell obituary, death cause. It is with heavy hearts that we announce the passing of Paul Harrell, who cherished and individually touched many lives in Oregon. Paul's journey on this earth has come to an end, leaving behind a legacy of warmth, kindness, and indelible impact he made on those fortunate enough to know him. While the specifics of Paul Harrell's life may not be detailed here, the echoes of his presence linger. Housing avoided deep belief member, blah blah blah. Looks like there is actually an obituary in Oregon where he lived. Carolina form. Okay. But there's also on AR15.com saying that it's still it's a false claim. There are a bunch of actually obituaries showing different Paul Harrells. Anthony Harrell, Paul Samuel Harrell. So, yeah, it might have been. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably real, but, rest in peace if he did. I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure what region he was in.
Yeah, he was in Pacific Northwest Oregon. So, no black bear around my part of Alaska. Yeah. I see black bear as Suge. LOL. Alaska, you can still kill black bear year round. Yep, year round. 90 grain spear in 270. I got it 3,600 feet per second. Remington BDL. Cool. I have some of the 95 grain Barnes TTSX to try in 270. That'll be fun.
Here's some of my favorite ammo I've ever shot. If I can find it, hold on.
Yeah. Hornet Day, I've only heard from Midwesterners. Everybody in the South I know calls it Hornady.
The Underwood 223. This shit is hands down my favorite 223 ammo for hunting.
Cool. Is that what projectile?
That's the ballistic tip in these, but I've got their extreme penetrators too.
Yeah, I like their controlled chaos. I'm gonna be loading some of those up in 22-250 at some point.
Now the controlled chaos rounds from Lehigh are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look those up more or load those up. Yeah, Joshua. They've been in stock at Three Bears on the Palmer Wasilla Highway there at Trunk Road. They've been in stock here and there several times. I have bought many from them, a couple from them. I usually just hold them for my neighbor there. But hey, I'll put your name on it if you email me and give me your phone number. I'll put your name on it next time I go, hey, can you hold him for a friend? And I'll text you and tell him, hey, he's holding 200. He's only allowed to sell 200 at a time. He's holding 200 for you. You go buy 200. I'll buy 200. You can come pick up the 200 I bought from me and buy the 200 he's holding for you. We can work something out, but you got to email me and alaskanballistics@gmail.com. That's what's got to happen. So, and I have a little bit of large rifle Magnum. If you really, if you've got a bunch of 338 Lapua Magnum to load up and you really want to shoot it on a video for me, I can give some primers for that. So let me know. 24 inches for the 243, 6mm Creedmoor. I don't
24.
think it. Yeah, 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think
22 to 24 is going to be most efficient.
I don't think it needs a 26 like 6.5 PRC really needs a 26, but
my 6.5 Creedmoor is in a 26-inch barrel also.
Yeah, that's nice. You gain a lot of velocity on that, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between Magnum and non-Magnum primers? Supposed to be just a little bit more flash in the thing there. So, Chuck, primers are plentiful on small and large pistol. Yep, even small rifle. Large rifle primers, good luck. Yeah, yeah, I know, but I have started seeing them more. I have started seeing them more up here. If it's not in North Carolina, I'm sorry, buddy. Nothing I can do. 22 Creedmoor versus 22 250. Want to get a new coyote bolt rig for Texas and been using the 110 grain 308. Well, first and foremost, there's nothing wrong with the 110 308, so you don't actually need another one. But that's not what you tell your wife, so you need another one. So I'm gonna tell you, I have a 22 250. I was watching, and I knew he had it for a long time. I was watching Buffman Range today. He was finally loading up some M8 55A1 steel tip projectiles in 22 Creedmoor. He has an 18-inch barrel. With those M8 55A1s, they're 62 grain. I don't know what powder he's using. In an 18-inch barrel, he was getting 3520 to 3570 feet per second. In my 26-inch barrel, 22 to 50, it's sitting right behind me. 26 inches. I'm getting the max I feel comfortable getting, pushing the pressure, is about 3630. So I'm only getting maybe 100 feet per second faster in a 26-inch barrel, 22 to 50, over a 18-inch barrel, 22 Creedmoor. So again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm shooting over a chronograph and it's 5 degrees. He's shooting I actually did most of that testing in the summer. So I would say that if you are hand loading, go 22 Creedmoor. Because you get all the advantages with the Creedmoor case shape. And I almost went 22 Creedmoor, and I kick myself for it now. But the main reason I didn't do it is because there was absolutely no load data available for 22 Creedmoor. And the other reason why I did it is 22 250 is much more popular because it's been around a lot longer, and people wanted to see body armor tested with military style bullets in 22 250. That is something people have. If you go to any body armor testers video, whether it's Mr. Guns in Gear or it's Iraq Veteran 88, or the King, Buffman Range, he's the king of armor testing. If you go to any body armor and you see that they have some cool 5.56 bullets. They'll say, you'll look in the comment section, load it up in 22-250, load it up in 22-250, load those bullets, load those green tips in 22-250. They'll go right through. My 22-250 goes right through AR 500 steel at 700 yards. All this other stuff. You'll see that in the bottom comment. So that's why I went 22-250. But if speed is the name of the game, 22 Creedmoor's, if you can find a 24-inch barrel build in 22 Creedmoor, you're gonna beat 22-250. That is my opinion. What do you think, Bending?
If you're hand loading, 20 tactical or 20 practical for coyotes, hands down, no question about it.
That's a smaller bullet.
It's running. Yes, and it's running over 4,000 feet per second.
Well, hey, I could load I've loaded 40 grain in my 22-250. I'm getting 4,100 feet per second, 4,150.
But you're also having a lot more recoil. 20 tac is literally.
But it's the 22-250. There is no recoil. It's like non-existent. You know what I mean?
But 20 tac and 20 practical were designed in Texas for Texas coyote varmint hunting. There's a YouTube channel that's called Texas Coyote or Texas Coyote Podcast or whatever. And all they do is talk about the 20 tactical and the 20 practical for coyotes. I can't remember what the name of it. Hold on, let me look at text messages. I'll tell you the name of it.
If you hand load.
If you're hand load.
But if you're looking to also do factory ammo or buy factory ammo, 22-250 is going to be the one there. But like I said, though, I got 40 grain bullets going. They were going significantly above. I had 40 grain full metal jackets in my body armor test, and they were going 4150. They're supposed to be getting over 42 according to the Barnes manual, but I might not have had everything right. But they were getting 4150 in a 26-inch barrel, 22-250. So the speed is there with 22-250. But
it's called Texas Predator Hunt Podcast.
Texas Predator Hunt Podcast. And I if you hand load, I don't have anything against the 20 practical or tactical. It's just a lot of people don't hand load. So
and they own a ammunition manufacturer that make 20 tac and 20 practical called Allied Munitions down in Texas.
Okay, cool.
And so they offer factory loads for it.
22. This guy says 22. David says 22-50 never be beat. Proven caliber. Yeah, that's true. All right, so I'm gonna look for a good question on here because it's been almost 2 hours on here, and my kids are gonna go to bed without me playing. And Paul Harrell is still alive. All right. Yep. So, looking for a good question. All right. Good luck for you on your test tomorrow. Paul Harrell is still alive. He made a comment about 12 hours ago.
His brother took over his page.
There we go.
I don't know. If he's dead, he's dead. Like, I don't know him that way.
Yeah. 22-250 is an explosion, 0 recoil. Yeah, 22-250 does not have recoil. So, I'm sure the other ones are better on recoil, but, more of the jump up than it is anything else. But so is 223 with the right bullet. All right. Yeah. A 58 grain 243, man, you can sing that thing 4,000 feet per second too. Yeah, and 243. So I've seen it. Yep. 223 super short mag. Getting Spain seas is too pretty to burn out the barrel. There you go. All right. So, well, do you have anything you're doing on your channel, Bending Ballistics, that's coming out soon?
I will have a video coming out. I'll have 2 coming out here pretty soon from the MAC 12 that I did and my new 3-gun rifle.
Cool. All right, man. So, well, yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff coming out soon. Tomorrow, I'm debating which video to release tomorrow. Let me know in the side chat here. I got a 300 Win Mag, 165 grain factory loaded Hornady CX bullet, Superformance CX. So they're copper bullet. Or I've got a body armor test with Tacticon armament with 2 of their pistol plates, backpack armor, and a laptop and some paper in front of it. So the stuff you have in a backpack, will it stop a rifle bullet going through the books, the paper, the laptop, and 2 layers of pistol armor? Will that stop a rifle bullet? So, yeah. So let me know on the side. What do y'all want? Y'all want 300 Win Mag, or you want the double pistol armor versus rifle bullet? So
Double pistol armor.
that's what you want to see. All right.
I'll
I know
actually
my
watch that because
audience.
I'd be interested.
Yeah. So I did a single pistol armor with 3 large textbooks that were thick, like thick textbooks. 3 large textbooks in front of a single pistol armor before, and it stopped every single round. But those textbooks, in fact, 2 of the 2 expanding rounds we used got stopped in the textbooks. One in the second textbook, one in the third. The VMAX, we used a 60 grain VMAX, a 62 grain TSX, and then we used a green tip and a 55 grain 223. The 55 grain 223 and the green tip both got stopped on the armor. But that's that. So this is bending ballistics. Okay, we've got one. You must have kids in public school. We got one here for the double pistol armor. All right. So all right, we'll decide which one we want to release. So hey, if I release that one tomorrow, Joshua, you got to share it everywhere. That's the only thing. Okay, I got to afford those primers for your 338 Lapua Magnum. So, but I will for real. I will give you a couple hundred primers if you let me go shoot it on a video. So, email me.
Oh, that's a good trade.
That's a great trade, because like you don't have to do anything, you know. Well, I guess you got to load up the ammo, but in fact, I've even got some bullets you can
But
have.
I mean,
I got 250 grain LRX for 338. I don't want them. I got half a box of them if you want to have them. If you want to load them up, I got some bullets you can have. So I know that's light for a 338 Lapua Magnum, but be fun to send that 250 grain. What 3,000 feet per second? I don't know. So yeah. Or if you got any of the Lapua Magnum armor piercing or full metal jacket, steel core stuff, you know, let me know. We can do a body armor on that. He says deal. All right. Ooh-wee, 250 grain. Is that a good ooh-wee or is that a bad ooh-wee? So, anyway. So, David, this is bending ballistics. Bending, like you're bending over ballistics. All right. So, I recommend don't bend over in the shower at jail. So, anyway, y'all take care. I will see y'all later. Bad. Okay. Well, if you don't want them, you don't have to have them. That's fine. I know the ballistic coefficient and all that kind of stuff. It's like horrible. And in the LRX, you probably want that 285 grain LRX. That would be an awesome bullet. 285 grain LRX in 338. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't load them up and have some fun, especially if you want to load them up for a video. So, I always like loading light for caliber projectiles for videos. It's fun. People watch it. I don't know. Like my 130 grain, my 130 grain video on let's see 130 grain. Yeah, my 130 grain video on 300 Winchester Magnum. It's got 12,000 views. So anyway, StreamYard crashed on my end. All right, no problem. Y'all take care. Godspeed. And we will talk to y'all later. Yeah, sorry, Joshua. Like my all of the 338 bullets I have are for 338 Win Mag, and so 250 is kind of the biggest you can get. So anyway, y'all take care. God bless. Have a good night.